Good evening, everybody. My name is Jeff Sear. I'm the technology teacher and integrator at Leeds Central School and Turner Primary School. And I thought I'd take some time to talk to you about a tool in Screencastify called the video editor. Knowing that some of the options that we have for video editing on the Chromebooks are pretty limited, I thought I would show you this tool as something that you might be able to use with your screencasts and other screen recordings to edit things down. So before I begin, I want to introduce a couple of things. First of all, my website, bit.ly/Mr. Sear. This training will be available on that website, as well as archives of other trainings that I've done in the past. I also have plenty of tutorials and professional development resources for teachers as well as for students and families, so definitely go check that out. To find this training, you would go to Teacher and then Access Tech PD and Training. And you'll get the video archive of this and other trainings, as well as any handouts that might have gone with the training or links to other materials, resources, how-tos, all those kind of things. So it's not just the video here that can help you with these different tools, but other stuff as well. And if you need tech help at any time, please email me. There's my address on the screen, jeff.sear@ms82.org. Also, throughout all of this distance learning, hybrid learning stuff that is going on, I will be conducting daily virtual hours on Zoom, office hours, I should say. So that link, bit.ly/Mr. Sear VOH, will bring you to the page on my website for virtual office hours, which will have my scheduled hours for the day, which are usually posted by 8 a.m., as well as the link to the office hours if they are live. So definitely check that out if you need anything, especially if I'm not in your building or you're at home and I'm at school, or vice versa. These are ways that you can get in touch with me to work through any tech issues that you might have. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's look at today's session topics. First of all, we're going to do a quick review of Screencastify, some of the basic stuff that you can do with it. Then we are going to talk about editing a screencast and some of the different features in the video editor that we have. We'll also talk about ways that you can add other video clips, so you can actually put clips from multiple screencasts together into one video. I can show you how to do that. And we'll finally talk about exporting your videos. Alright, so let's get started. So I'm going to pull up my Chromebook screen here so that you'll all be able to see it. And so, again, just to kind of review about Screencastify. Screencastify is a screen recording tool that you can use to create videos of your screen, of your webcam, of some combination of both on your Chromebook. So if we look near the top right corner where all of my extensions are, I should see there's my Screencastify logo. If you don't see Screencastify here and you've installed the extension, if you look where the puzzle piece is, you can click on the puzzle piece, and you'll see more extensions that you have installed. Sometimes they are pinned up here so you can see them, and sometimes they're not. If you just click on the push pin, then it will pin it so that you see it up here. So if I unpin it, you see it hides. I can still get to it here, but I have to go to the puzzle piece to access it. So I'm just going to hit pin to make sure it stays up there. So that's something that Google has introduced in Chrome in recent versions, so just so you're aware of what that is. But I'm going to go ahead and click on Screencastify, and you're going to see that I have a couple of options for what I record. I can record my desktop. I can record a browser tab, just one of the tabs, or I can record just my webcam. So if I was looking to record a video that would just be with my camera, I could choose this option. With both the desktop and the browser tab options, you have the ability to embed a webcam in there if you so choose. And also you can turn your microphone on. So For this example, I'm going to want to record my desktop. I'm going to turn my microphone on because I'm going to be narrating something. You may have to select which microphone, which it should be just one unless you plug one in. So default is fine. If for whatever reason you have some other microphone plugged in there, you can just select it from the menu. It'll pop up. And for this, we're going to embed our webcam as well. And let's go ahead. There should just be one webcam. This is a Chromebook, my personal Chromebook that has 2 cameras on it. So I'm going to choose the front camera. I'm going to show more options. I have the ability to set a countdown timer. I can turn that on or off, or I can set up to 3, 5, or 10 seconds. Drawing tools are something that appear in the bottom left corner of your screen when you're recording a video, and you can use that to pull up a pencil or some other tool that you can use to draw on your screen, like you had like a telestrator or something. And system audio. So if you are including, say, a video or something that you want to show as part of your screencast and it has sound on it, you'll need system audio on. Otherwise, it's only going to pick up what the microphone picks up, which is going to be very choppy. We should note that system audio is available for Screencastify with the desktop and the browser tab on Chromebooks. And I believe on MacBooks, let me check here real quick. So tab audio is available for the browser tab, but you cannot record your system audio from the desktop. And that is because of how macOS is configured, that it's basically impossible to code something like that into Screencastify. So I think I have everything the way I want. I don't have any tab audio in particular or system audio on my Chromebook, so I'm going to leave that unchecked. But again, it's something you can turn on. And I'm going to go ahead and press record. And you'll see that my webcam is now turned on in the bottom right corner. And I'm going to select that I want to share my entire screen. And I'm going to click share. And we're going to get a countdown timer, 3, 2, 1. So when you hear that ding, that means that it's now recording. I can get rid of that notification in the corner. And now I'm talking and explaining what's on my screen here. Again, I have my drawing tools that I can use. I can pull up the pen tool. I can choose a color. Let's say if I want to draw a oval around today's session in green, and I want to drawing with a trackpad is hard. So it basically, you get the idea. So I'm recording a video, I'm annotating it if I so choose. I can erase stuff if I want. And let's go ahead and erase hi. And we'll call it good. So I'm going to go back up to my Screencastify icon in the top, and I'm done recording now, so I want to hit stop. So what that's going to do now is that's going to load in Screencastify a copy of the screencast that I just made, and I'm going to unmute here so you'll be able to hear me talking over me, which is weird. Explaining what's on my screen here. Again, I have my drawing tools that I can use. I can pull up the pen tool. I can choose a color. So you get the idea. So before we get to the editor program, we actually have one tool at our disposal right away, which is the trim function, because you may want to trim out the beginning of your screencast, which is that time between when it starts recording and then you actually start talking. And you may also want to edit out the end of it, that empty space where you're going up to your toolbar and stopping the recording. So to trim your videos, if I look on my timeline down here on this part of the screen, I have a pair of scissors at the beginning and a pair of scissors at the end. So I just need to click on one of those. I need to click on the right device. So when you hear that ding, that means that it's now recording. I can get rid of that notification in the corner. And now I'm talking, so I want to trim. See, I'm clicking and holding my scissors right now. So let's say I needed to cut out around the first 4 seconds. I can get rid of that notification in the corner. So now you'll see that it started playing right where my scissors are. So that's where the trim is going to happen. Same thing at the end. Let's go ahead and pick up the scissors at the end. And I'm going to go back. I want to cut out before that box shows up on my screen. My Screencastify. So about 101. So let's call that good right there. So I'm going to hit Save Trim. And it'll give me this message: trimming a video replaces the original video. All trimmed footage will be permanently deleted. Just fine. That's just filler. I don't actually need that. So I'm going to hit trim. It's going to trim my video and save the new version of it here. So we'll give it just a second for that to finish. One reason why I really like this function, some of you may have noticed that if you've asked me a question... Get rid of that notification in the corner. Let's pause that. So some of you maybe have noticed that if you've emailed me asking about how to do something, that I've been replying with GIFs, which those animated GIFs that can kind of show you how to do something. It gives you that visual of what I'm talking about in the email. So this is the tool I'm using. I'm actually just doing a screen recording in Screencastify, and I'll trim out the beginning and end parts that I don't need. And then this is where it gets really cool, because if you don't need to do any editing above this, first of all, it saves in Google Drive as this file, as a video file, but you can also download it in other formats. You can also do something like share to Classroom, publish to YouTube. You got all kinds of things. But I like this function right here, the download. So I'm going to press this download button, and you can see that I have a couple of options. First of all, I can download as its native file format, which is .webm, or I can export as an MP4. That's a more universal format that works with more devices. WebM doesn't necessarily work with everything, but MP4 is pretty well universal. So if it's a video you're looking to share, then MP4 is a good option for you. I can export the audio only. So if you're looking to record something that's just audio, let's say you're doing something in a Google Slide, which is kind of famous for not really handling audio well, but if you wanted to record your voice, you could record it in Screencastify and then export just the audio and import that into your Google Slide if that's how you wanted to do it. But I really like this option here, export animated GIF. So that's what I'm doing in those emails I'm sending to you. I'm just clicking here. I can set a size. The larger the size, the larger the file is. Generally speaking, Google will not allow you to attach files that are more than 10 megabytes. So if you're attaching something that's very long, you may have to reduce your size a bit just so that you stay under that 10 megabit limit. And as long as it's under 10 megabytes, you can add the image right in and it will embed right into the email. So that's what you're seeing when I send you those GIFs. But I can just hit export right here, and it's going to give me a status down in the bottom right corner of the screen, and in just a second it will be ready to download. So we'll give that just a minute. All right, so now you'll see that this GIF is ready, and I just need to hit download. And there we go. So I'm looking at the file size here. It's 34.1 megabytes. So that definitely would be too large to put right in an email. But if I needed it to be this large, if I needed to send a GIF that was a minute long, which normally GIFs are not a minute long, then I could always just upload it into Google Drive and then share it from there. So, but normally I'm going to have a GIF that's closer to maybe 20 or 25 seconds. So a file size like that should come up under 10 megabytes and I should be fine. So I do want to talk real quick about the Google Drive integration part. Again, just kind of as a review or an introduction to basics if you haven't attended any of my other Screencastify sessions or any of the materials, that kind of stuff, which you can look on my website. You'll see those that you can access for later. So for Google Drive, I can hit right here where it says more options. And you'll see that first of all, I can control the sharing settings of this video right from Screencastify. If I want to make it an unlisted video or a private or a public or whatever, I can change it to one of those settings, and then I could copy the shareable link and put it right in an email. If I wanted to just kind of go direct to sharing this with somebody without even needing to go through Google Drive, I have that option. I also can click View on Drive, and it will load it up here. And you'll see that it brings me right to that video file, which if it's a longer file, it may take a few minutes for it to fully process for you to see. So this was a shorter one, so it didn't take too long. I should also note that in Google Drive, whenever you upload or whenever you save a video from Screencastify, it will save in a folder that it creates for itself in Google Drive called Screencastify. And it will also use it, name it using this name right here, right up top, which I can change the name of. So I could call it example screencast or whatever if I want. And then you would find it in Screencastify from there, the Screencastify folder, I should say. All right, so those are some of the options that we have available to us. Before we even get into the editor function, so now we're going to go ahead and dive into the editor. So anytime you record a screencast, you'll have this button towards the top that says Open an Editor, and you can just click on that and it will bring you right into the editor application. Also, you can access the editor right from the Screencastify icon if I just click on it. And I can go to the 3 lines, and I can say editor, and I will go right to the editor. And we'll talk about uploading or adding other videos into a Screencastify editor. So if you wanted to just start from a blank video and add stuff into it after, you'd be able to do that. We'll talk about that later. But we're just going to dive right into the editor here. I'm just going to press it, and it will open it in a new tab. It'll take just a minute for that to load. Yes, ready to make some magic with their editor. And if this is the first time that you've used the Screencastify editor, it will bring you on this tour. We'll do that real quick, and then we'll dive into the features a little bit more hands-on. So this says, our editor is the easiest way to combine and polish videos. Take a quick tour to walk through the 4-step editing process. So first of all, we can add videos to our project with the plus button over in this corner. We can make edits in the timeline. So the preview of your video will show up in this part of the screen right here. You'll have a timeline right there. So you'll have a playhead that goes along, and you'll see what's playing at that spot in the playhead up in this part of the screen. And we'll talk about what you can do with your video in the timeline. We're going to go next. Cut, crop, zoom, and more. We're going to talk about those individual tools that we have. And download your finished video so we could export from the editor, which is a nice feature. And let's go ahead. It's time to get editing. So again, there's your preview of your video. If I press the play button, or as a keyboard shortcut, you can play and pause using the space key on your keyboard. I can get rid of that notification in the corner. And now I'm talking, and there we go. So easy enough that I can play and pause, and you'll see that my playhead is now advanced 6 seconds into the video. I can also scrub through the video, which means if you see that my cursor here, and you can see that there's kind of a sort of a playhead that's following my cursor. So I can scrub along and see what's going on with the video at different portions here. It may not load right away. It might take a minute for it to render that video file so you can see it. But it's pretty quick. I'm actually pretty impressed with it. So if I'm looking for a specific part in my video that I wanted to edit, I can scrub along with my video and look for it. And then when I click in that spot, then the actual playhead will move to that very spot. So let's say if I wanted to split this video into two, so maybe there's a part that I didn't want. I can use this cut function here, which again you can see the keyboard shortcut for that too. But if I just click on it, so now you see I have two clips of the video on my screen. Unfortunately, I don't believe there's a way at this point to create a transition like a cross dissolve or a fade to black between your video clips. So just keep that in mind. But let's say if I didn't want to keep anything from this clip, I could just click on it, and then I could press delete, the trash can, or the delete or backspace key on my keyboard, and you'll see now that it is gone. So also you see that I have these little bookends at the end of the clip. So let's say if I cut a piece out, but I wanted to extend that clip a little bit, or I wanted to gain some of it back, I could grab on the bookend, and I can basically extend the length of my video. So I'm pulling back at some of the clip that I might have taken out. So I can also adjust my video and my starts and finishes with these little bookend tools as well. So you have those at your disposal. Also, I should say, if you want to zoom in on your timeline, so get a little bit more granular in terms of your timing and whatnot, you can use this little zoom function right here. So I can just press on this, and you'll see that the tick marks get a little bit larger to show you that your increments in the timeline get a little bit smaller. So if you're looking at editing something and you're trying to get someplace in the in the tenths of seconds or something like that, that's a function you can use. You can also make a pinching motion with 2 fingers on your trackpad to zoom in, or so pinch with a pinching out will zoom in, and pinching in will zoom out. That's kind of confusing, I know, but that's the way it is. So that's the cut function, and we talked about cutting and also these little bookends. I don't have a good name for those, but let's talk about some of the other functions as well. For instance, we can talk about the crop function. So if we want to kind of edit out a certain part of the video or a certain part of the screen that we didn't want to be there, or otherwise you can't set up your screencast to just do like a specific part of a tab or a screen. You can edit that in the editor. So let's say if I just wanted it to be this slide right here, it says draw a rectangle to crop clip. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. It gives me these crosshairs, and then I click and drag so that I can make some sort of rectangle shape here. Let's see, that looks about good right there. And if this is what I want to have happen, then I just press done, and you'll see that now my video is just the slide. It's cropped out all the rest of the stuff. Now say I made a mistake. Say that I cropped out more than I actually wanted to. There's an undo button right here near the top right, and the global undo keyboard shortcut of Control-Z or Command-Z on Mac does apply here as well. So I could just click that. And now I get my video back, and let's try doing a different crop instead. So you'll see I have my crosshair, and I'm going to, let's say I actually wanted it to be even smaller. So how about this? How about this is our video now? Because before I had the slide, but then I had the part of my webcam in there. So I don't want that. So now I'm going to hit done. And there we go. So it's not the same aspect ratio or dimensions as a regular video is. So you'll see that it kind of letterboxed around the sides, so that it fit without distorting the aspect ratio at all. So that's the crop function for you. We're also going to talk about the zoom function, and I think this is actually a really, really great function, especially if you're trying to show something on your screen or a particular thing that you want them to do, if you're making a tutorial video or something like that, I think the zoom function is really great because it allows you to move the focus of your video into one part of the screen for a certain period of time. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this magnifying glass here. And the one thing that you'll want to keep in mind is you might want to have your playhead at the point in which you want your zoom to happen. You can move it around though, I believe. Nope, you can't. Well, I guess I can kind of pinch here, right? So I can use this to sort of extend where I want my zoom to happen. So maybe I want to have it happen in the area where I did my green circle here. So let's go ahead and extend this so that it'll zoom in right when I'm going to draw. So you'll see that I have this green box here, and that's just to let you know that during this time period, you're going to be zoomed in on a particular part of the screen. If I click on it, then it gives me the ability to sort of customize what that zoom looks like. So you can see kind of in this area here, this is where it's going to zoom. So what's in this rectangle right here is going to take up the entirety of the screen. That's where it's going to zoom in. So I can grow this box, or I can shrink this box. So let's say I really want to get in. It does require you to keep it as a rectangle. You have to preserve the aspect ratio on this. So let's say this is what I wanted, right? And I can also grab on any of these arrows, and I can move where I want this crop box to be. So if I wanted it to be the logo or something, I could do that. But I can kind of move this around where I want it to. The other thing that I can customize is over on this right side, you'll see this little sidebar here that pops out for transition speed. So that's how long it takes to zoom in all the way and how long it takes to zoom all the way out. So the default for both is half a second, 0.5 seconds. You can extend that if you want, make it a longer transition in and out, or you can make it a shorter transition out. Either way, and you can make it let's go 0.25 seconds in, and let's go 1 second out. So they can be different transition speeds if you want. So now what we're going to do, just to kind of see what this ends up looking like, is I'm going to go back in my video and kind of move my playhead here. I'm going to press play, and you'll see what the zoom function does. Say if I want to draw a oval around today's session in green, and want to draw. So you'll see that, so it zoomed in very quick because, again, I set that transition into a quarter of a second. That obviously was probably way too quick, so we're going to slow that down. Or maybe even make it the same as the out, because a second felt just about right. It didn't seem like it was too long. So I just edited the in to now be 1 second. So now we'll see if I want how differently that looks. Draw a oval around today's session in green. So not bad. Again, you can always go back and move things around. You can change the range of your zoom. You can change where it zooms into. You can change the transition speed, all that stuff. So again, I think this is a really useful function as far as creating tutorial videos or something where you want to show students or other people about something where you want it to go. I know that when I go to make videos and I edit them in Final Cut Pro, to do something like a zoom function is way more time consuming than something like this. So this is really a nice feature to have, is that zoom feature. I should also add that if you just want to get rid of a zoom, so just like with removing a clip, you can just click on it and it will highlight, and then you can either press the backspace key on your keyboard or the trash can and it will go away like that. All right, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is the text feature. And so if you want to add a piece of text to something in the video, let's say, let's go right to this point. So I'm going to raise high and then I'm just going to put it in text afterwards. So I'm going to move my playhead right here. So it's very similar to the zoom function in that when you press your text tool, it will place that feature where your playhead is. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And you'll see now that I have this box here. And again, I have that same ability. I can extend or contract the length of that text in either direction from either side with those little bookends right there. And then you'll see that I have this little box right here that says write something. And so this is where I have my chance where I can go ahead and I'm going to write hi right in here instead. Now, one of the things with the text box is that it is a little bit limited. So let's see if I can move. Oh yes. So this is one of the ways in which your text is a little bit limited, is that you're kind of limited in where you can place the text. So you'll see right here on this little toolbar that it's kind of like writing text in a Google Doc. So you can left align it, you can center align it, you can right align it, do whatever. So I can move it here, and then I can also horizontal or vertical alignment, I should say, and have it go to the top or the bottom or in the middle or something like that. So you're kind of limited into kind of 9 areas on the screen where you can put that text. But it is something you can do. You're also limited in the sense that you only have a few fonts to work from. So if I pull up this list, you can see there's only 5 fonts. And I think like 5 sizes, or 4 sizes, so small, normal, large, or huge. So there isn't the same ability to customize as a different type of video editor. Let's see if I can change some colors around. So I can kind of create a background color for my text if I want. I can change the color of the text. And as standard in a word processor, I can bold, italic, or underline. So that's what my text box looks like now. So and again, you can just hit the trash can or the backspace to get rid of that text box if you want. So next we're going to talk about adding other video clips into an editor project in Screencastify. So you can see that I have gone ahead and made another video. This will be a video of me just doing a quick thing in Scratch Junior. And so I'm going to want to put this into my Screencastify project that I was using earlier. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to download this video. Just click on download. I'm going to export it as MP4, and that will allow me to download this onto my computer and then upload it into the other project that I'm working on. So I'm getting progress here. Now I can download the MP4 file. You'll see, there we go. We're all downloaded. So I actually don't want to keep this video because I'm going to put it into something else. So I'm just going to click on this trash can and it will delete it from Screencastify, which is fine by me. So now I'm back in my main project here. And as it was mentioned quickly earlier, there's a blue plus button right here on the right side of your screen to add a clip. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And you have the choice. Do you want to upload a video or do you want to add something from Google Drive? So I think in theory you probably could add something right from your Screencastify folder. But I just downloaded the MP4 anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and upload that right into Screencastify. And there we go. There's my upload prompt. And I'm just going to pull this right from my download folder. You'll see that it's going to take a minute to process the video so that you'll be able to play it and edit it when it's done. And that was really quick. So you'll see that now I have a new clip in my timeline. It just added it right onto the end of my previous clip. Pretty easy to do there. I have all of the same abilities. I can use the bookends to extend or contract the clip. So if I want to shorten this so that I only see the scratch part and not the part of me opening Scratch. So if I want to start right here, I can do that. And the same thing at the end if I wanted to get rid of the part of me exiting out, so I can close Screencastify. So right about here, I guess. I can also, let's click on the timeline here, and I can also use my cut tool. And then I can just click on this clip and delete and get rid of it, nice and easy. I have all of my zoom functions, so if I want to zoom in on the editing area here, let's go ahead and click on the clip. Let's use the zoom tool. I want to zoom in right here. That sounds good. Keep our transitions the same. And now we can play that clip. So, pretty simple. So, you have all the abilities as far as editing something that you did in Screencastify with any other video, even if it's not something that you recorded in Screencastify, it's a different video file. You might want to, for instance, edit something that you recorded in Zoom. So you could upload a file from Zoom and edit it in here, which is pretty cool. You've got lots of functionality. And then if this is the clip that we want to make, this is the video we want to make, we can just hit export. And you'll see I have a couple options. I can export the MP4, or I can export to Google Drive. I'm just going to export the MP4. We're going to give it a name, test video. It's going to process. And video will begin downloading now, and just like that, it's done. I'm going to click right here to open that file. I can choose a color. Pretty cool. Let's say if I want to draw a... So that worked pretty much exactly the way that I wanted it to. Now, one thing with the editor, so if I'm going to close out of the editor, it's going to keep this file in place here, keep this project in place. So if I just get out of Screencastify completely, and I click on the icon in the top right, and then I click on my 3 lines, and then I go to editor, you'll see it'll actually bring me right to this project, which is pretty cool. So if I started a project and then got out of it and wanted to come back to it, I certainly could do that. I can also start a project fresh by going to the 3 lines in this top right corner and then just hitting new project. And then that will current edit this, make sure you've exported your video, which I've already done. So I'm going to press OK, and now I have a blank editor project from scratch. So that's about everything I think I need to show you for the moment about the video editor in Screencastify. So I'm going to close out of this now. Pull right back up to my slideshow. Just to remind you that bit.ly/Mr. Sear will have this video as well as some of the resources that you can access to go along with this to help you with Screencastify. And all of my other archive sessions are available there as well. Click on Teacher and then Access Tech PD and Training. And there's my contact information. If you need tech help, feel free to email me. And then bit.ly/Mr. Sear VOH will bring you to the page that will show you my office hours for the day, if I have any, as well as the link to the office hours if I am live. So that's going to be the end of this virtual training. Definitely let me know if you have any questions about anything you saw. And good luck editing your videos with Screencastify.